Hi, everyone. I'm Ayliffe Brown, the Director of Content and Community here at Zoo Labs. We're just going to pass some time real quick by watching some of Divinity's. Hi, everyone. Music. I'm Ayliffe Brown, the Director of Content and Community here at Zoo Labs. We're just going on. Sorry. Okay, that's why we're here early. Okay, back to sharing the screen for her music video.
It's the end of a decade, the start of an era. My mama named me Debbie, my teachers called me Deborah. God told me, girl, you existed from infinity. You ain't from this earth, they should call you Divinity. And you could call me Miss Roxx. And you could eat a buckshot. I got more love than you haters got hate. And I love it that you hate it, cause I'm great. I am not a type for you a typo. Everybody around here psycho and FICO can't cover it. I'ma smother it, hover it, over it, like a helicopter, optoplane, na. Call me Dendada, I am your nana. Holla, following that, dare and pretend. I see you around till we meet again. You don't know what to say. Cause behind that smile is a whole lot of tears like the other way. And it happened oh so long ago. Through the years seem magical. How did we get here? How did we get here? I had it up to here and it can't get no louder, can't get no fouler. I'm a wildflower. Everybody around here sour. We ain't talking about the cowards. How is it that I'm amongst all these legends? Birds of a feather, will they flock together? I am the last of the wildest of children. Heaven must be in the building. I know you sense inconsistence, deny his existence. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. The light I emit can't be like it. This funny renditions of love. Tell me why you so dumb, why you so hard, why you so callous. The balance is wrong, and once we are grown, we will never be children again. We have lost all of our innocence. You don't know what to say. Cause behind that smile is a whole lot of tears like the other way. And it happened oh so long ago. Through the years seem magical. How did we get here? How did we get here? You don't know what to say. Cause behind that smile is a whole lot of tears like the other way. And it happened oh so long ago. Through the years seem magical. How did we get here? How did we get here? Wildflowers don't know that they ain't supposed to grow, so they grow all over the soul, all over the soul, all over you. You find them everywhere. You looking at one right now, shawty, hey. You don't know what to say. Cause behind that smile is a whole lot of tears. Look the other way, look the other way. And it happened oh so long ago. Through the years seem magical. How did we get here? How did we get here? You don't know what to say. Cause behind that smile is a whole lot of tears like the other way. And it happened oh so long ago. Through the years seem magical. How did we get here? How did we get here?
Well, was published. So let's go to some of her more recent music.
Did you know that you could be
And then we'll get started. All right, y'all. Thanks for holding tight as we let everyone come into the space.
absolutely anything in this world you want to do? All you gotta do is think it, dream it, believe it, and do it. Hey.
I can be anything. We can be anything. Girls and boys can do anything.
Hey.
Anything, 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 anything. I can be anything. We can be anything. Girls and boys can do anything. Anything, 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 anything.
I wanna be a teacher so I can teach kids that they can be anything what whatever it is. I wanna be a pilot so I can fly high. Just spread your wings, reach for the sky. I wanna be a vet and take care of pets. Me, see, I like the internet, and I'll bet there's so much more I can do if I believe in myself and just follow through. Well, I believe in you. There's nothing you can't do, nothing you can't be, nothing you can't see, but nothing comes free. You gotta work hard, you gotta do your best, and baby, that's the first start.
I can be anything. We can be anything. Girls and boys can do anything. Anything.
Come on,
Anything.
let me hear you say,
I can be anything. We can be anything. Girls and boys can do anything. Anything. Anything.
I wanna be an astronaut, go up to space, look back at Earth and say I miss that place. I wanna be a doctor so I can save lives. You can do anything, just open your mind. I wanna be an artist, I love to draw, I love to paint, I wanna play ball. The world is so big and there's so much to do, so much to be. What can I be? I wanna MC and move the crowd, graduate from college and make my parents proud. I wanna be the writer of a TV show. You can do that and oh, so much more. I wanna see my face on the magazines. I wanna be famous, me, I wanna sing. Just follow your heart and follow your dreams. Believe me when I say you can be anything.
I can be anything. We can be anything. Girls and boys can do anything. 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 I can be anything. We can be anything. Girls and boys can do anything. Anything.
Yo, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. As long as you can dream your dreams, you will become everything you want, everything you do. Just strive to be the best at what you do. You can drive big trucks and make big bucks. You can write the newspapers. Don't get stuck, just open your mind to what you want to be. And if you believe, then you will achieve. Hey, wake up every morning with a smile on your face. You're the children of the earth. You're gonna run this place. One day you're gonna grow up big and strong.
I wanna be president.
Run along and dream big dreams and small ones too. Shoot for the stars and land on the moon. Listen to your parents and make yourself proud. And if you forget, sing this song real loud.
I can be anything. We can be anything. Girls and boys can do anything.
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 Anything. I can be anything. We can be anything. Girls and boys can do anything. Anything. Anything.
I want you to do something for me right now. I just want you to imagine what you want to be when you're older. Just believe it and you can achieve it. Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for having me. My name is Divinity Roxx, and
All right.
wow.
Awesome. You're here. Hi. I just love how that's like 10 years of your like difference, like the first song and then this Divi Roxx. So that's sort of the theme of today, you know, the evolution of careers.
You know what's funny, Ayliffe, is that song was from 2002 was when I released that record.
Oh, so it's
Can
more
Do
than
anything record.
Oh, that
You
one.
just-
I Can Do Anything. It's from 2002. Okay.
Wow, full circle moment.
So that's a 20-year song. And then you released it 20 years later. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, before we dive into that story, why don't we start with like who you are? I know you. We work together. You've come through the Zoo Labs program. But for folks that don't know who you are, I think you do it better than I can, but I mean.
Well, my name is Divinity Roxx. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I now live up in New Jersey. I'm an artist. I'm a bass player. I'm a songwriter, a composer, a producer. I've toured with some of the best and most talented people in the world. I've played with some of the most incredible human beings in the world. And I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm also an author.
Yes. Sorry, I forgot we have to record. Okay. Yes, an author. Okay. And when did you become an author?
I became an author last year, the end of last year, actually. During the pandemic was when the authorship journey started.
Yeah.
Started for
How
me.
did that happen? Like you were touring and then the whole tour ecosystem was shut down due to COVID, as we all know. So yeah, I want to know, like, what were your thoughts? Like, okay, everything's shutting down. Weren't you like in the middle of a tour at that time?
Yeah,
Or just getting
I
off?
had just left Zoo Labs, right? We had just recorded this album that we were going to put out. And I jumped on the road with an artist that many of you may know. Her name is Fantasia, an incredible singer and artist. And I was touring with her for about, I don't know, 7, 8 months or something. And our last show was in January of 2000. Is that when the pandemic happened? 2001. No, 2021.
No, 2020.
2021. Wow, I'm losing my mind.
2020.
2021, right, 2021. So 2021 in January, we played a cruise ship, and when we got home, shortly after we were home, we just saw all of the dates in our calendar just disappear.
They're like
We were
canceled.
planning on doing more dates. Yep, everything was canceled. The world was shutting down, and of course, I was thinking, wow, what am I going to do? This is crazy.
Mhm.
But I also saw it as an opportunity to really reevaluate what I was doing and what
Mhm.
I wanted to do. And I
Yeah.
just so happened to get a call from a friend who was looking for some children's music and asked if I had some tracks and some songs that I'd like to share. And I did.
Wow. And that's when you went through the archive. You were like, what's the song I wrote like 20 years ago? Or do they all
Yeah.
just stay in your head? Every song you wrote.
No, not every song. Well, the "I Can Be Anything" song, that's a whole story unto itself. Because I released
Mm.
that song years and years and years ago. And I actually the person who I was trying to connect with happened to be the person who called me during the pandemic. We never
Oh,
connected on "I Can Be Anything." I ended up releasing it just haphazardly 20 years ago, and I was really trying to go on this children's music journey, but I got pulled out of that into the world of touring with Beyonce and doing my own thing with my rock band. I can't believe you played the Get Here video. Crazy.
I love that video.
I know the Get Here video. I can't believe you played that. That was great. Um, and then so he actually called me, and I was like, yeah, I should get back to writing my kids' music. And I started pulling up things out of my hard drive, pulling out some old hard drives and going through some tracks, and I put some stuff together for him, and he pitched it to the company that was looking for music, and they loved it, and
Wow.
they wanted to do more, and they
I
wanted
love
to
that.
make books out of them, out of the songs I sent them.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Then you're like, oh, okay, this is why staying organized and all of that is important, because at any moment you could be handed opportunity and
it's
then it just like snowballs, right?
There are so many things. It's also why, like, sometimes you start something at some point in your life and you don't know where it's going or you don't have a plan for it, but it's just something that is part of it's just part of your catalog. It's just part of your artistry, and you don't really
Mhm.
explore it fully. And 20 years later, you have an opportunity to do so. You never know. So, like, I could have given up on the whole kids thing years
Mhm.
ago and been like, "Oh, that's silly. Why would I even, think about that?" Or why would
Yeah,
I
you're like,
even
I'm touring, like there
I'm
this is
touring,
the
yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, but I also know that being in the moment of touring is not forever. I mean, there
Yeah.
are some bands that can tour forever. There are some musicians that desire to tour forever. But touring is a whole, it's a whole thing, it's a whole lifestyle. And
Mhm.
you have to be really willing to put up with the everything that comes with that lifestyle. It can be grueling, and I was really at the point where it was starting to take a toll on my body and my mind and my soul. And I'm married and I want to be home more, and I've been
I
touring
get
for
that.
20 years, you know?
Hmm. And doing a lot of supporting other people's music and dreams. And I feel like now it was the perfect opportunity to go back to something you felt really connected to as a part of your life story and like your personal mission. You want to be a good role model, right, for children, and be like, you can do anything. Like, look, I can do these things with the bass player. And I mean, well, you tell me, did people tell you like you can't be a bass player growing up or anything like that?
No, I didn't even know I wanted to be a bass player. When I was growing up, I played the clarinet and I sang in the chorus. So it wasn't
Wow.
until I went to college that I picked up the bass and I fell in love with it, and I dropped out
Wow.
out of school and moved back home, and like really really dove headfirst into being an artist full time. I mean, the whole full time struggle and everything. My hip hop group, Dat Boo, we were opening up for
Ooh,
artists like The Roots and, J. Rue
fun.
the Damager. And, we were really on that real 90s hip hop thing. And,
Mm,
but I was playing the bass, but the bass wasn't like this prominent thing in my life until
mm.
I had this accident. And so I started practicing bass, fell in love, like, I mean, just practicing all the time. Met Victor Wooten and ended up going on tour with him, and like a whole nother world opened up for me out of
Wow,
that. Yeah.
that's awesome. Yep.
Yeah.
That's just like the synchronicities
Oh.
that is worth living for, right? You're like,
Yes, that's what this life
mhm.
of an artist is. It's a series of synchronicities. Always paths are always opening. Um, I'm always saying yes to opportunities. I'm always exploring new opportunities. I love to learn, so I'm always learning. I went back to Berklee College of Music online a few years ago, so I finished that during the pandemic, and now I'm graduating. I have a whole new set of production and engineering skills. Um,
Nice.
yeah, man, it's just so many things, so many things.
The work never ends. But I think that's like the important part of being, a creative entrepreneur, to stay curious, to stay on top of new technology and like new what else? New methodologies for business in general. I think that all of business changed since the pandemic started. And now we're kind of like, okay, what's this new? Like, we kind of like are sitting in this new culture. How do you think that affects like how you're envisioning your career? I mean, just looking at the last 10, 20 years and the opportunities you have coming forward, what do you see?
That's so funny. I could look back and say, yeah, 20 years ago, I thought I was be doing this.
I
Man, the
love that.
possibility, I know, I can't believe it. The
Story. Good
possibilities are
story.
so endless right now. Um, I'm doing a little bit of everything right now. The world is opening back up. So, of course, the opportunities to play bass are showing up. People are calling me for gigs,
Mm.
and it's hard to say no because I do love playing bass. Um, and there's
But are
also
you
this
used to staying at home? You're like, hold on.
I have gotten used to staying at home, but I've just started back working out because I'm about to do some serious traveling,
Okay.
playing with some different artists, as well as composing music, children's music for theater. I'm actually working with a theater closely on my own project, The Ballad of Debbie Walker, which is what it's tentatively titled. I just
Yeah.
I'm doing this festival called the Genesis Festival with Crossroads Theater here in New Jersey. And we're going to put up the first version of this one woman show that I've been working on. I cannot believe it.
Yes.
I'm not even
Yes. This has been a long time in the
uh,
making. What I'm curious to know more, but
I know there's so many things we could talk about. Like, it's
uh-huh.
crazy.
Okay, the opportunities keep flooding. So wait, that's gonna be like a test of the ballad of Debbie Walker at
Yeah,
the
it's more like a workshop.
Mhm.
I connected with this artistic director, Ricardo Khan. He introduced me to one of his colleagues, who
Okay.
is they're going to nurture me into bringing this
Mm.
story to life. A lot of
Oh,
the
that's
music
good.
we recorded at Zoo Labs is going to be a part of the play, and the music that's going to go into it. There's a lot of storytelling. The premise is that it's a story about the becoming of Divinity Roxx. So it's the
Mm,
origin stories of Divinity Roxx. Uh,
yes.
it's crazy.
Yes, I love that. And I was just thinking you came, I'm based in Atlanta. You came to Atlanta and did your Divi Roxx Kids set, which is like a one woman show. So are there like, these things you've learned from Berkeley School, from the Divi Roxx Kids that will be implemented into the Ballad of Debbie Walker?
Yeah, I think it's always very scary to be on stage by
Mm.
yourself. And
Yeah.
I've been avoiding it for a long time.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, well, especially when you're supporting big names, like Fantasia and Victor Wooten, it's like
yeah. Well, I
the
mean, performing with
spotlight's
my
on
own
them.
band is one thing, right? I can get on
Mhm.
stage with my band and feel so comfortable because I have this community of support, and we are interacting and we're vibing and we're
Yeah,
creating together. But there's a whole nother level of security, I think,
that's true.
that it
Because if you
requires to
mess
be
up,
up
you
there.
can't like go to the drummer, like do a drum solo.
Yeah. So like I'm really it's new territory for me. I believe that everything I've experienced from touring with other artists, from experiencing um my favorite artist and going out, I've been going out and watching a lot of plays, watching a lot of shows. My wife is in musical theater.
Nice.
So I've been leaning on my musical theater community to really help develop this show.
Mhm.
So I think that, I think everything that I've ever done is sort of preparing me for this. Uh,
Mhm. And
yeah.
how long has the Ballad of Debbie Walker been something that from a idea to like jots on a napkin and then to Zoo Labs?
I think it's been in the making for a long time. When I,
Mm.
I got an opportunity to tour with Victor, and every night I used to be so amazed because he would just walk out on stage, him and his bass, and sometimes I'd look at him and say, "What are you gonna do?" And he'd look at me and say, "I don't know," and he'd just go out there. And I used to
Yeah.
just think that was crazy. Like, he has no
Like some
idea what he's gonna
improv.
do, what he's gonna play, how he's gonna experience the crowd. There's this give and
Mhm.
take. It's where he is that day, where he's able to express himself, the energy he's getting from the crowd, all of those things. And so I used to just really look at that and say, wow, I wonder if I would be able to do that one day. Just go
Mm.
out by myself on stage. Now it's funny because during Beyonce's tour, I had an opportunity to go out by myself with the bass, but I had the whole band with me, right? So that was
Yeah.
one thing. But now this
Yeah.
this story is centered, or it's my story. I get to express it. I feel like I'm gonna be, I'm definitely gonna play the bass. I'm gonna perform some of my poetry, some of my songs. I'm gonna do a lot of storytelling. I'll probably incorporate some technology with some looping and some soundscaping, and really try to create this this theatrical piece with just me telling my story.
Yeah. And your story is inspirational, which is a theme I see with all of the work and creative things that you put into the world, be it the book. Wait, what's the book called again? I forgot.
Which book?
We should put
Okay.
the link in.
So I have two books that I just that were published by Scholastic. They're books
Okay.
for kids ages, I would say, about pre-K, grades pre-K through second grade. One is called Me Plus You, and it's about families. And I love this book because I had an opportunity in the second verse to really talk about my own family. The
Mhm.
illustrations were done by an incredible artist named Nashante Fletcher, and she actually took aspects of my life and incorporated them in the book. There's a really cool spread in the book of a family reunion, and it is reminiscent of my family reunion in South Carolina with my family, and I love
Love
that so
that.
much. And the other book is called Happy and Healthy. Same deal. It's for students pre-K to about second grade, illustrated by Neshante Fletcher and published by Scholastic. It's called Happy and Healthy. Um,
Cool.
and it's about how health is basically is wealth. And there's a little dance that goes along with it. It's it's really fun, and the kids have really been giving me some great feedback on this project. So those are the
That's
two
awesome.
books.
But I love how they're based off of, your real life, and and that your real life can lead others and children, but also adults into feeling inspired, feeling like, oh, it's not too late. Like I could pick up the bass and really dive into it, and who knows what would happen. And
I
then
get a
that's like
lot.
a thing. Right. That's like the same thread I'm seeing from Divi Roxx Kids to the Ballad of Debbie Walker. It's like, yes, let's keep taking these lived experiences and tell them in different ways so that you can keep inspiring folks.
I love that. Yeah, it's so funny. I get messages in my DM all the time. People who are inspired to pick up the bass. They'll say, "Oh, wow, I read something, or I saw some bit of your story, or an interview you did, or there's something about what you're doing that inspired me to pick up the bass guitar. It's something that I always wanted to do." And I encourage everybody, I just encourage people to play music. Music, helps you to connect with your soul. It helps people connect with empathy. It's a release to be able to
Mhm.
express yourself. It's a way to express yourself without using words. You can
Yeah.
use music to do that. And I think especially now more than ever, people are needing different mediums to express themselves. So
That's
I think
true.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, I actually just went and got like a $80 keyboard. And
Yay!
I did it, well, because I love music. I'm not a trained musician, but I also did it because my art is fashion and making clothes. And I just feel like it's so much mind energy right now to draw it up, cut it out, do all the math. And I was like, I just want a creative release where I can just press some buttons and I hear something. And
Mm.
it's a flow, it's like a rhythmic flow. And I do think that like having calculated music is a cool thing, but that's not like why I bought it. So I definitely hear
Oh,
you with that.
well, we got a jam then.
I'm learning my what are they called? The circle of fifths. So
Oh,
yeah.
perfect. Nice. You went right for some theory. Go ahead then.
Okay, right in. I mean, I work with musicians, so I at least have to know the little bit. um, let me pull up some of these questions. Okay, Scholastic, we talked about that. Your pandemic life. Yes. So like with the book, like what are your other ideas? Are you just going to keep working with Scholastic? I mean, I guess that's up to them, but or keep creating books and children's music that can go together?
Yeah, I always thought that that's what I would end up doing in my life. Um,
Mm,
when I stopped touring, or when I really wanted to settle down, that I would start writing more.
mm,
I always wanted to write a novel or tell stories. I love great stories, and so the
yeah.
books are kind of like a path uh, that I'm starting to walk. That's leading me to what I always imagined I would end up doing. Um,
Mm,
so yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of unfinished stories on my hard drive, that
yeah.
I open up every now and again, and I'm hoping that I can partner with more publishers. It'd be great to partner with Scholastic again on another project. It'd be great to partner um, with other illustrators, and and continue that journey, and make this a
Mhm.
series. We already got 2 books, so
Yeah.
why not continue. When my grandfather saw the 2 books, he was like, do you know what you have here? This could really
What?
become something. That was his thing. He was so excited and he was so
I love
proud.
that.
Yeah, so he was like, I can see
That's
you just
important.
having like 10 books, in a series of books. And I thought that was really, really beautiful. And it is definitely something that
Mhm.
I'd love to do.
Yes. Do you find that the process of making and releasing a book is a lot different than making and releasing a song or an album?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are definitely some similarities. There's something about being able to hold this in my hand that
Mm,
is a little bit different from making a song that,
mm,
in for all intents and purposes, is sort of intangible. I mean, right now we're making MP3s, which are these tiny itty bitty things that people really don't even understand what they are. It's just this
yeah.
zeros and ones or whatever, right? So
Hmm.
there's something really gratifying and real. I mean, not to say that music isn't real. It's very real, and people feel it and they love it and they play it, but you can't put your hands on it and open it up. Books of all, for me, I really always love to read. So
Mm,
for me to actually become an author and have a book in my hand that I wrote, it means so much to me. I mean, the
mm,
process of sharing it and promoting it and the business of it and all of those things are very similar, you
yeah.
know, but there's something very special uh,
And then, but
holding
then
this in my hand.
you also have like this full circle with this project. Like you have music that helps tell the story of the book, and then the book can help sell some of the music. And I mean, I've seen that on your Instagram. You like have the book and then it's your song in the background.
Yes, yes. It's really great as a musician and a songwriter and an artist to be able to combine the 2 mediums. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm super proud
Yeah.
of this project, and I certainly would like to continue doing more of this for sure. And it's all
Yeah.
positive vibes, man. We played a show at BAM not too long ago with all these kids, and just to see their faces and watch them experience the music, and then to see that there's a book that goes with the song, like
Hmm.
that really excites them. And the one thing I really love about this project is that there are all kinds of kids and all kinds of people in this book. There's not one type of person in this book. There are people of
Hmm.
all races. There are people who are of all ages. There are people who um, society identifies as having disabilities, or and that's really beautiful. One of my favorite stories my wife told me about a friend of hers who has worn a hearing aid his whole life, and there's a picture in the book of a kid with a hearing aid in their ear. And as he
Hmm.
and his daughter were reading the book, she noticed it and was like, "Look, Daddy, you know he has a hearing aid like you." And he
Hmm.
was just it he just stopped, and he had never seen that before in a children's book,
Wow.
and that really touched him. So there is this representation in these books
Hmm.
that I think is so important for people to be able to see themselves in different
Yeah.
mediums that are controlled by corporations who oftentimes overlook certain people as though they don't
Hmm.
exist, as though there is this certain norm. And if you
Hmm.
don't look like that, or you don't fit into that norm, you don't exist, when you know clearly
Hmm.
that you do. So being a
Wow.
part of that is really special to me too. Having
Yeah.
a little bit of myself
And
I
then
could see
I
myself in
would
the book.
consider that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone you know and love, and then people that, you know, you want to get to know and stuff like that. And I think that's such a good message for our future. Um, and then it makes the art feel timeless, which I think is something that has been a conversation I've seen peripherally throughout the past few years with how quick these DSPs, digital, what are they called, service provider, or yeah, the distro kids and the people who put things onto the streaming services. Like, I could make a song right now on my phone and put out there, but it's not the same as like something that's so impactful to others. And I think that's how you create, you know, lifelong fans, but also like art that they would keep and pass down through their families, you know. That the whole thing with records too, that's coming back, and books. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I really realize how cool it is. I think I know how cool it is, but 10 years from now, I think I'm going to look back and say, yo, that book is still circulating. There's a
Yeah.
new group of children being exposed to it,
Mm,
and you know, honestly, I have to say, I remember when the Scholastic Book Club would come to my school, and you would get the
mm,
flyer and you'd open it up and you could choose all these books, and it was so exciting and so fun. So
yep.
full
And
circle
then
moment, you know, having a book in the scholastic world is so amazing and so huge. Um,
amazing. So
yeah.
true. And to pair it with your music, like I think that most folks think you know, a t-shirt. I mean, I can't have any more band t-shirts, but so when I find other artists who have something fun to sell where I can support them more than just listening to their music, I'm all about it.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
People still come to shows and they want to leave the show after having such a great experience. They want to leave with something physical.
Yeah.
So that's why oftentimes CDs do still sell at shows, you know, because people will
Yeah.
buy them even if they don't have a player, just because they felt something by experiencing your show and they want to take a piece of that home with them.
Hmm.
So yeah, the books definitely
So
are
true.
something that people can take home with them.
Cool. Well, I'm ready for the third, fourth, and fifth books too.
Work it out. Go work it out for me.
Yes. I'll share with all my friends with children, or I'll buy it because
Yes,
shoot, my
please.
inner child needs it too.
Yes, please. Buy it for the children
Mhm.
in your life. Share it. You know, I noticed that there are lots of urban libraries, little libraries on the corner on the street where you can drop a book and take a book and
Oh
leave a
yeah.
book. So it'd be cool to see some of these
Start
in.
circulating that way.
Yes,
That's a cool idea.
yeah,
It's
that'd be
classic.
cool.
I'm just like just playing. That's cool though, yeah. Because I know that getting a publishing deal is also really awesome, like with whether it be your music or books. So congratulations, Divinity.
Thank
That's
you.
super
Thank
cool.
you. That's where it's at. Publishing. Yes.
Yes. So it sounds like pandemic kind of stopped y'all in your tracks and took out all the shows you had planned. But then you got all these new opportunities and to join the kids market as you've always wanted to, make two new books. And now you're working on kind of a side project role that you've been working on for a while, the Ballad of Debbie Walker. Were there any other realizations or just like moments of wisdom or cool opportunities that came to you that you would like to share?
I mean, for me, it seemed like it was just a time to reflect, to slow down,
Mm,
to really understand and realize what matters. I mean, it was such a tragic time for a lot of people.
yeah.
Like a lot of people, it was one of the most devastating times. There was a lot of loss.
Hmm.
Um, but
Yeah.
it was definitely a time to reflect on what really matters, what's important, and connecting with other human beings. I think everybody figured out how important it was to be connected to people. Um,
Mm,
I mean, there were so many things. I changed a lot of habits. I spent a lot
mm,
of time really with myself, and I spent got to spend a lot of time with my wife because we had just gotten married, and
mm,
we were both working and traveling, but we got a chance to just be home and really spend a lot of time together. We spent the daytime working. She is an
mm.
actress, and I was in school and making music and writing and creating, and she was exploring her craft and taking online classes, and
Cool.
because her world stopped too. So
Mhm,
every evening, though, we had an opportunity to come together, eat dinner together, make food together, really nourish one another, and I think that was really important. There were so many
yeah,
realizations during the pandemic. I mean, you have to say honestly, we're still in the pandemic in
yeah.
some ways. We still are getting news every day of people leaving this world, and I think it's heavy on everybody.
Mhm,
I think that we are all eager to get back together. I
mhm,
have gone to see a couple of shows. I've got to experience some really incredible art. I've got to hang out with some people who I hadn't seen in a long time. And that's really
mhm.
beautiful to see people coming together. And I think right now people are in this space where they need that. And
Yeah.
there is this appreciation for it. And I hope that we can hold on
Mhm.
to it for as long as possible, this appreciation before we get back to. There's also a lot of noise happening and a lot of dissonance and a lot of
Yeah.
negativity, but there is also this wall of positivity that's out there still trying to push out the negativity. And I think
Mhm.
that that became more and more apparent during the pandemic too.
Definitely. And that's where I think, it's almost divine timing. I never thought I'd say that with you, Divinity. um, but like, for you to be able to go back to these stories and these, it's almost like cosmic connections that you had so long ago to be able to be like, oh, this can actually like stretch even further and really like push that positive light into people's lives. And I know children are suffering the most. I mean, I don't have kids, but I can empathize for just how I felt as a kid, and then now it's like online learning and, so that's wild. Have you heard if any teachers or schools or after school programs are gonna start using your songs and books or?
Oh man, there are schools in Georgia and Atlanta. So I have a really great network of friends that I went to high school with, and a lot of
Nice.
them are in the educational world. I have a really good friend who's the principal of a school. I have my sister is a
Cool.
teacher. My cousins are teachers. Everybody is sharing the music. One of my friends' schools, they use Ready Set Go to get the kids motivated for school in the morning. So many
Nice.
parents have hit me up to tell me that Ready Set Go is the song that they wake up to and that their household wakes up to get ready for school in
Fun.
the morning. Um, I've been getting videos from so many people sharing the music and sharing the messages. So it's very encouraging,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so encouraging because these are young people, these are kids, and they're honest. They're honest about what they like.
Yeah.
They know what they like. They know what they don't like, and it's really refreshing to watch them experience this music that I'm putting out with the intentions that I am, because they're letting me know whether or not it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been really cool. I'm working on developing some teaching tools to go along
Cool.
with the music. Um,
Nice.
Yeah, so we're partnering with I mean I don't want to get we're working to partner with some students, some university graduate students to develop programs that we could take to
Cool.
schools and share with young people on how to stay happy and healthy, um, how to
Mm-hmm.
connect with one another, how to be yourself. That's one of the songs on the album is to be yourself. And so it's really just an exciting time. There are so many great opportunities to explore this aspect of the music industry, of the publishing industry. I've met so many incredible artists who have been doing this work for so long, and I've been learning from them. They've been leading with their heart with
Wow.
this work, and people are starting to see them. People are starting to understand the impact that people of color specifically have in the children's market.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really exciting to be
That's
a
awesome.
part of that movement as well. Family
Yeah.
Music Forward has been doing a lot um, when it comes
Mm.
to highlighting children's music artists of color,
Yeah.
because oftentimes the mainstream overlooks those people for some reason, shape or another, you know.
Yeah.
But we're making our
Yep.
voices heard, and we're making a difference in the lives of children, and I think that that's really what matters the most.
Yeah. And you're able to partner with some of Zoo Labs alumni, the Alphabet Rockers.
The Alphabet
Um,
Rockers, I love them so much. They're gonna be here in the summer. We did a song together called "Just When You Think," and the hook is like, "Just when you think that it's time to quit."
yes.
Bahamadia jumped on the record with us. It's all about not giving up. You know, we're really just trying to spread positive messages, inclusivity. We want people who have traditionally not been seen, heard, or felt to
Mm,
know that they have value in the world, to understand that they matter, to understand that they're special, and for them to be able to see themselves. We got to show them themselves in these mediums where where they're participating. So
wow.
man, I just get so excited about it because there's so
Because
many
it's
people out here
awesome.
doing the work. It is, and there's so many people out here doing the work. So
Right.
I'm staying inspired. I'm constantly learning. The Alphabet Rockers are a force.
Yes.
Woo! They are a
Yes, they are.
force. The work they're doing is so important. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, man. So
Yes.
I'm
And they
just
started that journey, I mean, before Zoo Labs, but with us, but I think it was 2016, they came into our program. So I think that what I love the most about the Zoo Labs community of artists is when we're always supporting each other. We're always finding ways to work together. But also that we know it's a marathon, and we know that like being diligent and staying organized, but keeping your heart and mind open for opportunities can help you have great stories and impact like yours, and where I love the impact your value propositions are giving to your customers, but also just like watching your career and knowing that like being an artist means that your art doesn't ever fade. I mean, even if it stays in your hard drive, or you release it and never tell anyone about it, but maybe someone Googles it or somehow it just like appears into their world, that it's still impactful and inspiring. So
absolutely, absolutely. I love that. I love Zoo Labs. I just want to give a shout out to Zoo Labs for always supporting
thank you.
artists, for always looking for new ways to support artists, for continuing to evolve and continuing to change with the times and the technology and the landscape, and always trying to figure out what do artists need now, because it always
Mhm.
changes. Everything changes. With the pandemic, one of the things that's so funny is that artists had to learn new skill sets, right? Because everything went virtual. I think the whole world was like, wait a minute, we're going to perform on
Right.
Zoom and we're going to do, you want me to send you a video? Now I got to learn how to edit in Premiere Pro and color correct. And, like you
Mm-hmm.
had to really, in order to survive, you have to continue to learn new skills and continue to learn new technology. One of my favorite artists is Nona Hendrix because Nona is always exploring the newest technology. Nona be putting me on the stuff and I'm like, wait a minute, Nona, what? You can do what? We go, okay, we in the virtual, we in the meta, okay. Like,
We're in the
we in the meta, we in the metaverse. Oh, okay. Like
So true.
so she is one of my biggest inspirations because she continues to explore everything that's new that comes out. And I think that's really important for artists. Sometimes we get stuck on the old way of doing things. Oh man, it was so
Yeah.
much better when it was like this. It was so much better when times were like this. But we're not going to go back, yo. We're always moving toward the future. We're always expanding. The universe is always expanding. So we have to continue to expand as artists in order to stay alive, in order to be relevant, in order to art. You gotta
In
you
order to
gotta
document the
expand.
times, and all that.
Yeah. So
That's so true.
yeah.
That's true. And then, so we helped you with Mint Songs, who was on our last month panel, release
Yes.
an NFT. I'm just curious. I mean, I know NFT is a whole new frontier, but have you seen any traction with it? Or do you have any new ideas after doing like a prototype? Or,
So
or
I
you
keep
can't discuss?
exploring this. It's funny because you and I had this conversation about surveying my audience and
Always.
really
I will
getting
always tell you to do
surveying
that.
that audience, yo. Just get a sense of what it is they are looking for from me as an artist, right? And
Mhm.
of course I have assumptions, right? So I have to test these assumptions to determine whether or not they're true or they're false, and my mind is opened up to, oh, okay, well, this is what you want. I thought you wanted this.
Mm.
So I have been slowly testing the audience to see if they are into NFTs, musical NFTs.
Mm.
And most of my audience is like, NF what? Huh?
Yeah.
Now,
I feel the
what?
same way.
What is that? And how do I use it? And what does it matter? And what? And I got to get a crypto wallet. And what is that?
And
Now,
they're
when you
like, wait, but I could just buy your book.
yeah, let me just buy a book, which is great, which is great. But when you started telling me about it, I immediately got me a crypto wallet, MetaMask, put some cryptocurrency in there, and just started
Uh-huh.
exploring this new universe, this new metaverse rather.
Yeah.
I got the Oculus now, so now I'm like testing.
Whoa.
Girl, listen, I am in the mix.
Yes, you are. I'm
I have
jealous.
ideas about the future and about like, oh, I want to do how do I do concerts in the metaverse? How do I,
Mm,
so that's that artist, that curiosity, that expanding, that growing. And
right.
sometimes my audience, I believe I have to kind of, I'm trying to figure that part out. How do I get my audience involved? How do I get them
Mm,
to come along for the NFT ride? So
right.
I minted one song and it's on Mint
Mhm.
Songs. And I've been thinking about how I would roll out another music NFT. What I would do
Yeah.
differently. How to strategize around doing
Yeah.
it so that it's effective.
I always imagine like an infograph or a little video of you just being like, this is how you get it all set up, right? And this is how you find the song, and this is why you might want to do it, and this is why you might want to do not want to do it, don't want to do it. That's cool. Like, here's the other products I have that you can buy to support me. But I've also been talking to more and more people about the NFT becoming almost like a VIP badge, like it signals your community. I don't know how many people want to get behind that. I'm already drowning in like Slack worlds, and then everyone wants me to go to Discord worlds, and then our Twitter worlds, and I'm like, can we just have one? And so, I think human behavior is a big part of it. And
Yes.
one thing I've seen and learned from you is you're ahead of the curve. I mean, shoot, you wrote a song that is 20 years ago that now is getting hella right. So keep learning, right? Keep going and keep talking to people. But who knows? Maybe there's a whole new audience out there that you've never even thought of, Or maybe it would be the kids who you're influencing now, and in 20 years you'll meet in the metaverse.
They'll be like, I have an NFT of that song, and I remember when I was 8 years old. Now I'm like 38, and this joint is worth like $100 million.
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
I know, right?
I mean, I remember more the music my mom played as a kid than the music I put on, but I think that's a fun part about music, is that it has memories and old times
Yes,
and
it
stuff like
does.
that.
Well, right now the music for kids it's crazy. There's so much music for them, and there are so many companies that are vying for their ears and their eyes.
Mm.
So I mean, I remember having a little record player. It was a Wonder Woman record player.
Oh,
Yes, I had the Wonder
okay.
Woman record player, and my mom would buy. Now I couldn't put my mom's albums on my Wonder Woman record player. She played her
Yeah.
records on her record player, but she would buy these little
Yeah.
kitty albums for me. And I mean, I remember, all the like American songs, like it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing to even say it. Like,
It's the
like
time. I mean,
Bicycle Built for Two, and like it was like a little Disney record that I used to play on my record player, and I had it for so long that when hip hop became really popular, I used to try to scratch on it.
oh yeah.
I tore it
Yeah,
up.
hold
I
on. I
broke
think I
it.
got one of those.
I broke it.
Because
So
it's
I
just a
mean, I remember
toy.
that. Yeah, it's like a little toy record player. No, it was real. There was a needle. It
Oh,
worked,
okay.
and it played real
That's so.
records. But it was like it was super tiny. It was in this little box. I think it had its own little speaker inside of the little box or whatever.
Mm.
Um, I can't believe I just told that story. Anyway,
That's so fun. I love that. And you're like, I want to be. I mean, it is. It is always. It's kind of like those things get stuck into your subconscious as a child. Little things that inspired you, or you just like obsessed over for, I don't know, a week until it broke. Because kids break things. And I think that's what's important, kind of why a bunch of people want to start making children's music, and why it's just so important to have your story, your voice, as well as, all the other artists you've collaborated with. Mm-hmm.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, as my boy Daniel Watts always says, artists are gonna art no matter what. So
That's true. We are, and we need to.
we
It's a
need to, and
calling.
the world
Okay.
needs us to.
Yeah. All right, we're almost done with our time here today. So let's see. Is there, any advice you would give musicians, maybe for longevity, or maybe if they're feeling like all of a sudden everything's like halted them and they don't know what to do? I don't know. Or maybe something you tell yourself when you're like, it's just not the day, and you're like, nah, we're not going to talk to ourselves like. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. I think that I think that that's a part of being an artist, is having those moments. What am I gonna do? I don't know what to do next. What am I
Mm.
doing wrong? How can I do something different? Um, and I think oftentimes when we're going through that,
Mm.
we are hoping and wanting things to happen the way that we want them to happen,
Mm.
as opposed to being open to the possibilities, being open to collaboration, doing something out of the ordinary, going and experiencing something that you wouldn't go and experience, because it gives you an opportunity, or it puts you in a space where you may be inspired. So sometimes we get into these ruts, these ideas that this is how it works. This is how I get to X, Y, and Z. This is the way it has to be. And then you hit that wall and you're like, oh man, what's happening? Nothing is happening. What am I do? What do I do next? What do I do? Change your focus. Open up your mind. Open up your vision. Don't have tunnel vision. We don't get to, a lot of times we don't get to choose how we get to the end result, right? We don't even know necessarily what that is. I always tell kids, I did not play the bass when I was a kid. A lot of people a lot of people did. I did not play as a child. I didn't know that that was going to be my journey. I didn't know that that was going to be an option to me or an opportunity, but I was open. And when my friend, he just suggested it offhanded, like, yo, I was like, I'm gonna get a guitar. He's like, get a bass. I got this bass, and it changed my whole life trajectory. So sometimes being open to doing something different is all that you need to open up the floodgates to whatever it is that's out in the universe waiting to bless you.
Yes, I love that. And I've also been told that you have to try it 3 times. The first time you might be like, I don't like it. Second time you might meet someone cool. And the third time you're like, okay, it's not so bad.
It's funny you say that, because when I was a little girl, I was probably about 11 or 12. I used to go to my uncle's house, who was a musician. This is a quick story. He had like a little studio set up in his house. He was a saxophone player. He had a band. They used to play like Earth, Wind, and Fire in my grandparents' basement. When he moved out of the basement, he got married. He moved into a house, but he still loved music. And so he had a keyboard set up. He had a saxophone. He had a bass in the room. And we would jam. And I always wanted to play his saxophone because I played the clarinet. But sometimes he would give me the bass while he played the keys. And I would be like, I don't know what to do. No, I don't want this. I want the saxophone. I didn't realize that seed had been planted. So when you said you have to try it 3 times, when I ended up picking up the bass in college, I didn't even remember that my uncle used to give it to me when I was give me the bass when I was a kid. I had no idea. It wasn't until 2 years ago when I went to visit my aunt and she mentioned it. And I was like, oh yeah, he did try to get me to play the bass when I was a kid. Because she was like, girl, you've been playing the bass forever. And I was like, no, I haven't. Like, I did not. She was like, you don't remember when he used to hand it to you? But and when she said it, I was like, I do remember that, but I didn't know what I was doing. It was so awkward and weird, and I was fumbling around. I didn't want it,
Wow.
So
that's awesome. I love that. That's a great story.
It's funny.
That's so good. I mean, we're at our time, so I've enjoyed speaking with you and you sharing your story with the Zoo Labs community. I do need to shout out our Learn program. So Divinity came through our residency program when we were in-house. Now we're all remote, and we've translated all of our business boot camp classes that Divinity took with us into an online entrepreneurial training suite. And what's different about it is it's all free, 1, and 2, it's artists teaching artists. So what we love about that is, we'll say customers and value propositions, but we'll also be like, what's your secret sauce? What's your hook? Like, what is the rhythm that you're trying to get your customers into? We'll translate that business speak, for artists. So check it out. I believe it'll be in the chats. And we got all Divinity's links, so please follow her, support her, get that book, listen to her music, follow the journey as you have these next few projects roll out. I'm excited to learn more and see more about the Ballad of Debbie Walker. Anything else that you'd like to share?
Oh my goodness. Oh, there's so much. We're Girl, let me look at this calendar. Oh, I'm actually going to be in Atlanta in June working on this
Cool.
project with the Alliance Theater. It's another project. I don't know how much I can talk about it. Um, but
That's
it's a
okay. We can
yeah.
follow your Instagram because I'm
Please
sure
follow
you'll
my
shout it out.
Instagram. I'm getting ready to go to Seattle to play with Brittany Davis. I am um I run a blank because I'm gonna be gone every single weekend between now and June. So
Oh my
it's
goodness. You
yeah,
definitely are packed.
it's about to be crazy. But it's all good.
Love.
The world is opening back up. I'm super excited to go
Mm.
on this new journey I'm on. Um, I definitely, absolutely endorse Zoo Labs. If you are an artist and you are really trying to figure out what's next, or you're trying to figure out how to get organized, you need to learn how to strategize, you need to learn this business speak, Zoo
Mhm.
Labs is the place to go. It really did a lot for us, I have to say.
I appreciate that. Thank
Yeah.
you.